Hi everyone, this is Tiffany, also known as the Perfectly Wise. I'm coming here with our November intuitive guidance session or reading. So let's jump right into it. So, long story short, and I'll provide a recap here for October as I've done here in previous months here leading into November. But long story short, what I'm getting for November, just right off the top, is silence. A lot of silence. Yeah. So in October here, recapping, and to clarify here, similar with every session that I've done here for these monthly sessions here, you can find the previous sessions here on my website, www.theperfectlywise.com. But in recapping October here, there was a big notion here, this big theme that was around harmony and integration on the wings of change. So there's a lot of notion here wherein in our energies here, there was a sort of centered notion here that all that has occurred here and that has transpired within our lives here and within our societies here, there were and are in so fact fair, just conditions which are framing these notions here. And there's a way here wherein, almost like in a display of mastery here, we're able to work with all that is transpired and all that is unfolded from a place here that is balanced, from a place where there is harmony, from a place where we're able to kind of work with these conditions in a way that is harmonious and whole and centered. And we're almost in that way there expressing ourselves here, working with nature, working with its cycles, working with what is informed there for us in intelligence within nature. Carrying that over through to November, what I've perceived very strongly for November coming through. And in truth, here, I've really perceived this actually for a couple of months now. It was very interesting how I was kind of getting this message, where it's almost like from even as far back as like August, September, it was like there was this specific notion here that this would be coming through here for November. And sure enough, as I tapped in for what's going on here and what we should be expecting and almost kind of orienting ourselves around for November, I kept getting this notion here around silence. In astrology, the best way that I can describe this in astrological terms here is essentially as expressed there within the 12th house. And in astrology, the 12th house here is the house of transcendence. It is the house of it's the house of Shiva. It's really that place there where we really connect in solitude, in silence, in meditation, in really meeting and becoming quite acquainted here, very strongly acquainted with all the nebulous, mysterious, and non physical aspects of existence, of our soul based existence, of our lives. What I've perceived, and certainly like light workers, for example, intuitives, light workers here, and even just within yourself here, within ourselves here, with all that has been changing and that has been transformed and destroyed, which you could say it's honestly been the work of the dark goddess, the work of Kali, who is a Hindu goddess here, with all that has been destroyed, all that we've been acculturated around letting go of and embracing and building anew here. Certainly, I perceive, there's been a lot of work and a lot of admirable work here that has been done here in almost kind of like drawing in the spiritual hot takes, getting an understanding and kind of trying to have an understanding in real time what this means. Oh, so there's a lot of change. Oh, so there's a lot that is being transformed. Oh, I should let go of this. Oh, like there's been a lot of that sort of like quick pace. I've been perceiving like a lot of these quick pace sort of hot takes and understandings that we have, attempted and really tried in real sincerity and in real integrity and trying to understand. And in a lot of ways, I perceive, at least for a lot of folks here, certainly for parts of our collective here, where that quick pace, quick shot understanding has allowed us to really carry us through in day by day and kind of keep us going, so to speak. It's been that juice that has kept us going. And it has served us well. It's allowed us, especially if you've been in this part of this collective that has sort of tapped in and really kind of embrace the change with grace and with a level of understanding and kind of surrender to the process, understanding that there is in so fact a sense of order and a sense of like purpose to all of these changes here. What I've perceived here, what I've been perceiving very strongly here, especially in this theme of like meditation and silence, that venture to the 12th house, is that there is in so fact a deeper, like almost like a deeper layers of understanding and wisdom and truths. That's what I'm getting here. Was pulled. There are some oracle card. There are some cards here that I kind of pulled out here that I was getting intuitively. Kind of helps to frame this understanding. This notion here, the caption here, truths revealed, the revelations of Isis. I want to draw here to this illustration here, this figure here. He is the Egyptian god Anubis, who is the god of death, the lord of, among other things, the lord of death, the lord of the underworld. And, we are in Scorpio season right now. So there's a lot of that death, scorpionic, underworld, plutonic energy that certainly right now is informing us, and that will inform us through at least a good bit of November. But there was just that notion here where it's like at this particular time, this notion of silence and this silence here that I was getting here, the best way to kind of describe this, what I was getting here is in terms of deity and energetics here, was in this energy here, the goddess Siege. Siege is the Gnostic goddess of silence. She is the mother of Sophia. She's the mother of Sophia, and Sophia is the Gnostic goddess of wisdom. And Sophia here, or also known as Shekinah, as described here in this energy here, she is within that energy here. She's considered the female aspect of the Holy Spirit. And so there is a really, in connecting, honestly, that I was getting intuitively here for November, carrying on here, and connecting with Siege, essentially connecting with our inner Sophia, so to speak, the God, our inner Sophia, with silence, with meditation. There's almost this notion here where these deeper layers of truths and understandings and reflections, wisdom, stand to come out and make themselves known, and deepening what has been, again, I was getting this notion of like the spiritual hot takes. Yeah, that's a lot of what I'm getting, honestly, what I was getting in meditation and just tapping in here, what I was getting for November and carrying forth. Now, what does solitude mean? What does meditation mean? Let's kind of clarify what it isn't, first of all. When we say this notion here of like connecting with the 12th house, connecting with silence, meditation, or, with our inner Shiva, so to speak, what does that mean? That, oh my goodness, we are not engaged with our lives, we're not kind of carrying forth with action, we're kind of essentially just absconding and just like forgetting about the physical world? No, because carrying forth from October, there was a sense of balance, there was a sense of harmony that we were negotiating here, and that was an opportunity to negotiate and center in coming from October to now. But what I'm getting essentially what that means here in connecting with silence and quiet and meditation is a notion here wherein if this has not been present and been a part of your life and of your sort of practice and ritual and schedule and lifestyle so far, this would be a very, very good time to connect and make conscious contact with silence. From this particular card here, this is from the Doreen Virtues Goddess Guidance Oracle deck. Good luck. Ever since that whole whatever situation with Doreen Virtue happened, her Oracle decks have like literally now cost an arm and a leg. So if you're trying to get this deck, good luck. It's cost a lot more. I've been seeing it costs a lot more here. But I was drawn here essentially to read off this description for Siege. So let me just read it off here, just to kind of clarify, put some color and context around what we mean by silence. So again, Siege, quiet time. The caption here, take some quiet time to rest, meditate, and contemplate. So the message here, shh, dearest one, quiet your mind, breathe and let go of words, worry, and plans. Go into that space of silence deep within you, that vortex of peace where the world doesn't enter. Now is the time to retreat in silence and spend time alone. I'll lovingly help you rejuvenate and recenter yourself. Don't try to make any decisions now. Just allow your mind to be at rest. You'll know soon enough when it's time to take action, but for now, quiet your mind. Rest. And additional meanings for this card. Go on a retreat. Listen more and talk less. Avoid loud noise and sounds. Meditate. Surrender mind chatter to heaven. Know that you're more sensitive to noise now. And just as I was saying before about siege, the Gnostic goddess Siege is considered to be the great silence or void from which all creation sprang. Siege reminds us that words create duality, and that in silence we find our true origin in self. Quiet is omnipresent power that gives birth to wisdom, just as the Gnostics hold that Siege is the mother of Sophia, the goddess of wisdom. Siege teaches that our roots are in the silent void of the universe, and that it's important for us to reconnect with silence regularly. So again, as was mentioned here with those various meanings here, silence as it, if this, resonates for you and integrating here for November and onwards, that can mean, various things. That can mean taking a quiet trip. That can mean taking some time to meditate. That can mean shutting off the outside chatter. Maybe you're listening to the news a little bit less, avoiding loud noise or just kind of hectic situations. So that might be, it can take on various meanings here, but I was getting really, really strongly here where that's a strong opportunity for us. Again, because there's this notion here where like deep, deep, deep truths, personal truths, deep personal truths, resonant personal truths are really meant to come forth at this time and inform creation moving forward. And in creation, this could mean the creation of a new job, the creation of a new opportunity, the creation of a new home environment, like creation as it's scorned here within our souls here. We're meant to create at any given point in time. But creation, first and foremost, starts in silence. So I was getting a lot of that just kind of energetically there for November and onwards. Again, because there's a notion here where there's a lot of this like hello, goodbye, endings and new beginnings that has been carried forth here, honestly, for months. So this energy here describes that. The caption, you'll soon see that this change will make things better. So there's that notion here. So that's what I was getting for November, really kind of cut and dry and sweet. And you might find where, certainly I've perceived here, where in connecting with silence here, because there's been so much chatter, because there's been so much of this trying to understand and kind of center and understanding what's going on here, you might find where this like retreat into the quote unquote 12th house of meditation and silence and solitude is like kind of like a welcome relief. Here in the United States here, I've been getting here, especially in the last couple of days here, between the recent confirmation of the recent Supreme Court justice who, was confirmed to the Supreme Court, between that development here and the election coming up here in the United States next Tuesday there, it was almost like after those developments, there's almost like a collective sigh of like, okay, this is what it is. Now we're going to center in here in silence here to like truly understand on deeper levels, on more personal resonant levels here, what this means. When we mean by change, what exactly does that mean? When we mean by what it is that we're releasing, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? It's kind of centering more so from a more deepened understanding of what has been these sort of buzzwords of change and transformation and letting go and destruction. Like, what exactly does that mean at the deepest level, particularly for myself? And how does that inform my creation moving onwards? So that's what I was getting here. I'll go ahead and pull some additional cards here to provide some additional color and context around that. If other messages come through, so be it. So for today, I'm drawing from the Modern Witch deck. So let's see what comes up. All right, so let's cut the deck here. 1, 2, love this chair. Yeah, speaking of letting go, speaking of that's released and let go and offered up a new opportunity, 5 of Cups. It's interesting. Anyways, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, because there's a notion here, as was what flipped out here in this 2 of Wands energy. There is and has been for some time now a new pathway, and a new choice and pathway that is meant for us, certainly on the collective and the individual level, meant for us collectively and individual to embark on. And there's a notion here wherein the best possible outcomes, I see, yeah. The best possible outcomes as we choose and go forth on that path there, most essentially is supported in silence and in scorning, like deep, like scraping. Yeah, I'm getting this visual of like, why are they giving me this food analogy? Okay, so you know, like ice cream cartons, and like you use the scraper to like scrape, and it's almost like you're at the bottom of the ice cream carton here, and like you're scraping out the ends, to get, you know, like those last sort of deep kernels of ice cream out of the carton. Very random, but yeah, very random visual they gave me that. But it was almost like that sort of notion here. Yeah. Beyond the sort of general understanding that you have a new path, informing a deeper, very much empowered and informed, newly informed understanding of what that new pathway and choice is. What am I creating at the deep, like informed from a deep, deep, deep place where even so much like from a few months ago compared to now, there's even more information that's impacting and that is kind of forming and coalescing around that chosen pathway. Interesting. Yeah. Just immediately that's what I'm getting here in this Two of Wands energy. Interesting. Whoop. Oh, nope, not gonna take those. Beautiful angels, ascended masters, creatures of the elemental realm, creatures of nature, spirit guides, ancestors, the great goddess, beings of love and light who know us well and wish us well. I thank you for another day of love, life, and purpose on this earthly plane. I ask you, in speaking to our community and collective for November, what messages of love, light, healing, and wisdom do you have for us for November? Ooh. Oh, I see. Strong foundations are, oh, interesting. Interesting. Four of Wands. I was getting immediately, as I was shuffling, I kind of flashed to the Four of Swords. Obviously it didn't flip over, it didn't, or anything like that, but strong new foundations are built upon deep understandings. Built upon the deep understanding and the deeply scorned sense of wisdom that you bring to that creation and to that foundation. It is essential because what is most serving here is that that new foundation, that new creation, it's built upon a strong foundation. And as it resonates there within the self, within the individual self, that strong foundation is fortified and brought forth from deeply scorned understandings and truth. The deeply scorned truths about what am I creating fortifies the foundation of the new that you are creating, that we are creating. I see. Yeah, because there's a notion here in this force that I'm getting here from this Four of Swords energy here. Whatever is being built here, we're building this to last. There's a lock. Yeah. In this combination here, Two of Wands and Four of Wands here, what I'm getting here as it resonates there, both on the collective and the individual level here, the decisions and the creations here that we are building, that we are manifesting, that we are working with, they're being built to last. They're being built in such a way and fortified in such a way that it informs here our directions in life within ourselves and on a societal level here, for some time to come. There's a certain interlocking permanence. Yeah. Which would make sense here because there's so much of this notion, and there's been so much of this notion here carried forth in the new normal, What is the new normal? It is just that. It's the new normal. Like there's permanence in that resonance and in that understanding. I see. So we want to make sure here, if there's any opportunity here to scorn deep truths, it's essential. Because what we are building, what is sort of structurally, structurally, what is fortified there, it's built to last. It's built to carry forth there in permanence. For me, for the individual self, and for the generations to come. There's almost a notion here where it's time to it serves well to like get it right. Make sure that it is right. Make sure we really truly understand. Are the messages of love, light, healing, and wisdom for a collective, for a community, for November? Led as always. Ooh, 9 of Cups. Led as always, yeah, it's the scorning of individual truths and what's resonant within the individual self. That's where